Hey everyone, welcome back to Cinemax Odyssey. Today we're talking about something that might surprise you, celebrity couples who don't share a bed. Yep, some of Hollywood's most famous pairs reportedly sleep in separate rooms, and we're here to find out why. Now don't jump to conclusions. It's not always about fights or relationship drama. Sometimes it's just practical, like dealing with snoring, different sleep schedules, or wanting a little personal space. But you know how it goes in the celebrity world. Whenever something like this comes up, rumors tend to follow. We're going to dive into the details of these relationships, explore what's really going on, and yes, unpack some of the drama that's been whispered about. Trust me, the stories behind these sleeping arrangements are worth a closer look. Let's get into it. Melania and Donald Trump. First up on our list are Melania and Donald Trump. Now, their relationship has always been a topic of public scrutiny, and their sleeping arrangements are no exception. According to multiple reports, Melania and Donald have spent a significant amount of time sleeping in separate bedrooms over the years. Some reports suggest that Melania even stayed on a completely different floor from Donald during their time in the White House, which only added to the speculation about their marriage. A 2018 article in the New York Times revealed that Melania Trump reportedly maintains a separate bedroom from her husband at the White House. And when the two travel, they reportedly stay in separate hotel suites. While this might not be shocking for a couple constantly in the public eye, it certainly raises eyebrows about what their day-to-day relationship looks like. But wait, there's more. According to the Washington Post reporter Mary Jordan, Melania wasn't in any rush to move into the White House after Donald's inauguration in 2017. She delayed her move by several months, and it wasn't just about ensuring Barron finished the school year in New York. Allegedly, she was also renegotiating her prenuptial agreement following two major bombshells, the infamous Access Hollywood tape and Donald's reported affair with Playboy playmate Karen McDougal. Can you blame her for wanting some boundaries? Sharing a bed under those circumstances might not exactly be the most comforting thought. Even after she moved into the White House, Melania seemed to keep her distance, both physically and emotionally. Reports say she returned to New York at least once a month to catch up with her small inner circle, including her sister and her hairstylist. It's clear that she values her independence, even as the First Lady. Melania's separate sleeping arrangements and frequent trips to New York paint a picture of a couple living very separate lives. While some may argue it's a practical solution for a high-profile couple with demanding schedules, others see it as a reflection of deeper tensions in their marriage. Their arrangement certainly isn't traditional, but for Donald and Melania, it seems to be what works, or at least what's necessary for them to coexist. Whether it's about maintaining privacy, personal space, or simply coping with their unique challenges, their story is yet another example of how even the most public couples have complexities behind the scenes. The separate sleeping arrangements seem to be a reflection of their dynamic. Some insiders claim Melania prefers her own space and values a good night's sleep without interruptions, while others point to Donald's habit of staying up late, tweeting, working, or doing whatever he does in the middle of the night as a reason for the divide. Either way, it's clear that this choice has fueled a lot of speculation about their marriage. Are they truly fine with this arrangement, or is this a sign of a deeper issue? The question of whether they've drifted apart or are just managing their busy lives in different ways has been debated for years. Alright, that's the rundown on Melania and Donald's sleeping situation and relationship journey. Ready to find out which other celebrity couples are reportedly doing the same thing? Let's keep going. David and Victoria Beckham. David and Victoria are one of the most iconic couples in the world, blending sports royalty with fashion icon status.
Which is the most important thing to me, is what we've got.
But even their picture-perfect relationship reportedly includes a pretty unconventional habit, sleeping apart. According to reports, the Beckhams have been known to sleep in different rooms from time to time, and this has sparked plenty of speculation over the years. Now, the key thing here is that this choice seems to be less about marital issues and more about personal preferences and their busy schedules. Both David and Victoria have intense work lives. David with his soccer commitments, business ventures, and charity work, and Victoria managing her high-end fashion label and family life. Their schedules are hectic, and sleeping apart reportedly allows them both to get the rest they need without being disturbed by one another's routines. Sources close to the couple have said that this arrangement works for them and that there's no real drama behind it. They still spend plenty of quality time together as a family and maintain a strong bond despite their busy lives. Plus, let's be real, who wouldn't want a little extra space and quiet when you're constantly on the go? But of course, whenever a celebrity couple is rumored to have separate sleeping arrangements, people can't help but wonder, is everything okay? Well, in the Beckham's case, it doesn't seem to be anything other than a personal choice and a reflection of their individual needs. They've been together since 1999, and their relationship has proven to be one of the strongest in Hollywood. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. All right, let's move on to another iconic couple with a surprising sleeping arrangement, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip.
For it, and you look to see the new generation of design of all sorts in the.
While they're no longer with us, this royal couple were married for an impressive 73 years until Prince Philip's passing in 2021. And what many people might not know is that they reportedly maintained separate bedrooms for much of their marriage. Now, you might be wondering, why would the Queen and Prince Philip have separate rooms? Well, the answer goes way beyond drama or any sort of marital conflict. According to Prince Philip's cousin, Lady Pamela Hicks, this was a long-standing tradition among the British upper class. In a 2012 interview with royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith, Hicks explained that having separate bedrooms was actually a common practice for the elite. Here's what she said. In England, the upper class have always had separate bedrooms. You don't want to be bothered with snoring or someone flinging a leg around. Then when you are feeling cozy, you share your room sometimes. It is lovely to be able to choose. So it wasn't about avoiding fights or relationship issues, it was actually about choice, comfort, and convenience. Sounds pretty practical, right? Imagine being able to decide if you want to spend the night in your own space or share the bed without pressure. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's arrangement fits right into this idea of British upper-class traditions. They spent their lives maintaining a very traditional, reserved, and dignified royal lifestyle, and having separate sleeping spaces seems like the perfect way to stay comfortable while still being together. And let's be real, who wouldn't want the option to just sleep without worrying about someone snoring or hogging the blanket? With their busy schedules as public figures and the demands of royal life, it seems like this system worked well for them. Helena Bonham and Carter and Tim Burton. Now let's talk about another famous couple who kept things a little unconventional in their relationship, Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton.
Could. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I understand.
I mean, she had very little, and I think she was somebody who was very bossy and she was very precise.
These two are known for being one of Hollywood's most creative and quirky couples, and their relationship journey is just as interesting as their work. Helena and Tim were together for 13 years, from 2001 to 2014, and while they never officially married, they were very much a Hollywood power couple. So what makes their sleeping habits stand out? Well, it's their choice to sleep in separate beds. According to interviews, the couple reportedly had separate rooms in their home as part of their lifestyle choices. This wasn't about any major relationship drama, but rather their shared belief in the importance of personal space and comfort. Both are well known for their creative minds. Tim is a legendary director behind iconic films like Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice, while Helena has earned acclaim for her roles in Fight Club, The Crown, and The King's Speech. They're both creative powerhouses with busy schedules, so having their own space was a way to maintain peace, creativity, and rest. Helena herself has spoken about their decision, emphasizing that having their own rooms didn't make their bond any less strong. Instead, it was a way for them to recharge and not feel overwhelmed by each other's routines. It's a bit different than what people might expect from traditional couples, but hey, it works for them. And let's be honest, in Hollywood, a lot of relationships face intense pressure from work, constant media attention, and personal commitments. For Helena and Tim, separate bedrooms weren't a sign of issues, but rather a way to ensure they both had the space they needed to thrive creatively and personally. While they ended their relationship in 2014 after 13 years together, their decision to sleep apart was never a point of controversy. It was just part of how they navigated their busy lives as artists and parents, Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk. This couple took a pretty unique approach to blending their families and adjusting to married life. When they first started their relationship, they chose to sleep separately, each staying at their own homes several days a week. Why?
My business at Goop, and then this movie came up, and my brother, who's a filmmaker, was like, this.
Well, it wasn't about having relationship problems or avoiding each other. Gwyneth and Brad said that this arrangement was actually helpful in easing their children into their new blended family dynamic. As you probably know, Gwyneth has 2 children from her previous marriage to Chris Martin, and Brad has 2 children of his own from his previous relationship. Combining families can be tricky, so by having their own space a few nights a week, they gave their kids time to adjust to the new changes at their own pace. But that's not all. Gwyneth also mentioned that this choice was great for their relationship too. She said it helped keep their romance fresh. Having time apart allowed them to miss each other and come together with a renewed sense of excitement whenever they reunited. Before they officially moved in together full-time, Brad would spend a few days at Gwyneth's house and the other part of the week at his own home with his kids. And according to Gwyneth, it was a setup that worked really well for them. She once said in an interview, "All my married friends say that the way we live sounds ideal and we shouldn't change a thing. Sounds like they were onto something, right?" Eventually, they did move in together full-time, but their early choice to maintain separate homes for part of the week gave them a solid foundation for building their relationship while prioritizing family comfort and personal space. It's a refreshing reminder that relationships can look different for everyone, and that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to marriage and family life. So, Gwyneth and Brad show that sometimes a little distance can go a long way in creating harmony and balance in a new relationship. Tom and Katie's relationship was definitely one for the books, but did you know their sleeping arrangements were a bit unconventional too? Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. Tom and Katie's relationship began in 2005, and they tied the knot in 2006 in a highly publicized wedding. At first, everything seemed picture perfect. They had the fairy tale marriage, the gorgeous daughter Suri Cruise, and were living the Hollywood dream. But behind closed doors, reports suggest their relationship wasn't nearly as ideal as it looked from the outside. Rumors about their sleeping arrangements swirled during their marriage, with reports claiming that they didn't always share a bed. Yep, according to multiple insiders, their schedules and personal habits put a strain on their ability to live together in complete harmony. Tom, as you know, has one of the most demanding schedules in Hollywood, constantly jetting off to locations for mission, impossible shoots, press junkets, and promotional tours. Meanwhile, Katie was navigating her own career while simultaneously adjusting to motherhood. The most telling part of these reports? Tom Cruise is known for being intense and having very strict personal routines, which apparently didn't always mesh well with Katie. The idea of separate spaces was rumored to be a coping mechanism for their relationship struggles. Some sources claimed that Tom's need for control and focus was a major factor. Katie, on the other hand, was said to have felt isolated and frustrated by Tom's workaholic tendencies and his very particular way of approaching life and marriage. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Scientology. Tom Cruise is one of the most famous Scientologists in Hollywood, and his dedication to the Church of Scientology reportedly put a strain on his marriage with Katie. Insiders allege that Katie wasn't completely on board with his commitment to the faith, and their differences in beliefs added even more tension to their already rocky marriage. By 2012, Katie had had enough. She filed for divorce, and the legal battle that followed was intense. Katie reportedly wanted to ensure custody of Suri and get out of the marriage as quickly as possible, with Tom reportedly fighting tooth and nail to maintain control over the narrative. Did their separate sleeping arrangements contribute to this unraveling? Well, it's hard to ignore the idea that when couples begin to prioritize their own space, whether out of frustration, control, or sheer exhaustion, communication can break down fast. While Tom and Katie never confirmed if the rumors about sleeping apart were true, it wouldn't be surprising if the emotional distance they were experiencing was reflected in their choice to lead separate lives under one roof. Kevin and Danielle Jonas. Kevin Jonas and his wife, Danielle DeLisa, a couple who thought they were living their own fairy tale, but quickly discovered that reality had some unexpected twists.
So I actually called her. I'm like, so this weird thing has happened. It was wonderful. But then I saw Questlove and his mother, which was...
Kevin and Danielle got married in a fairy tale setting in late 2009, as reported by People. Everything seemed magical at the time. Love, marriage, and the promise of happily ever after. But just a few months into their new life together, things took an unexpected turn. According to In Touch, 5 months after exchanging vows, the couple was reportedly already sleeping in separate beds. So what went wrong? Well, it turns out that when they finally shared a bed for the first time on their wedding night, Danielle was in for a bit of a surprise. Why? Because Kevin Jonas snored, and not just a little snore. We're talking about loud, unrelenting snoring. A friend of the couple reportedly said that Danielle had no clue about how bad it would be. The adjustment wasn't easy. Their religious beliefs meant they hadn't spent a single night together until their wedding night, so this was entirely new territory for them. While Danielle loves Kevin, it didn't take long for the reality of his snoring to drive her to seek refuge in the guest room. According to this source, she still loves her husband, but when the snoring gets too loud, that guest room is the place to be. Sounds rough, right? And yes, apparently it's become a bit of a running joke among their friends, as Kevin's snoring has become infamous among their inner circle. While their story might not be the most traditional love story we've seen, it goes to show that even in marriage, the smallest, most unexpected things can test your relationship. Despite the snoring drama, Kevin and Danielle are still together, navigating married life and proving that love can overcome just about anything, even the loudest sounds in the bedroom. Ryan O'Neal and Farah Fawcett. Let's take a look at Ryan O'Neal and Farah Fawcett, a couple whose on-again, off-again relationship spanned decades.
To stay the topic of conversation for decades together. One such relationship was Farah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal. The gossips around
Their love story was filled with passion, complications, and ultimately, a sense of loss. And part of that loss, as Ryan later admitted, involved their sleeping arrangements. In his 2012 memoir, Both of Us, My Life with Farah, Ryan reflected on their time together and revealed that they spent a significant portion of their relationship sleeping in separate beds. He candidly wrote that their love was put on mute at one point. They stopped speaking, retreated into their own worlds, and would retire to separate bedrooms. Ryan admitted that instead of talking through their issues, he'd escape into writing journals full of things he wished he could say to her. But how did this habit of separate sleeping arrangements begin? According to Ryan, it started because of their son, Redmond. As a young boy, Redmond would crawl into their bed at night, which forced Ryan onto the floor. While understandable at first, the arrangement became permanent even as Redmond grew older. By that time, Ryan and Farah had grown used to the privacy of their separate spaces, and it stuck. Even when they traveled, they would often book adjoining rooms instead of sharing one. At the time, Ryan rationalized their setup as being terribly mature, but in hindsight, he deeply regretted it. He wrote, "Now I wish I could have back every one of those nights we slept in separate beds. It's a hauntingly bittersweet reflection, especially when you consider how much time they lost due to this physical and emotional distance." Ryan and Farah's relationship had its share of ups and downs. Their 18-year partnership officially ended in 1997, but the two reunited in 2001 and stayed together until Farah's heartbreaking death from cancer in 2009. Despite their challenges, it's clear that Ryan's love for Farah remained strong, making his regret over their separate sleeping arrangements all the more poignant. Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick. These two have been married since 1997, but in 2016, they made a decision that left fans scratching their heads.
That we will never really work together.
Yeah, every now and then somebody would say, you guys should do something together.
They bought 2 adjacent townhomes in New York City. That's right, neighbors, not just partners. According to Radar Online, their living arrangement reflects their bohemian approach to marriage. A source claimed that the couple decided that having separate living areas was essential for maintaining their relationship after experiencing their share of ups and downs. And they didn't just stop at owning 2 townhomes. They reportedly planned to tear down the wall between the properties to create a mega mansion. However, even with the wall gone, the idea was to keep things separate. One side for Sarah Jessica, one for Matthew, and shared access for their kids. It's not as strange as it sounds, though. Apparently, this arrangement has worked wonders for their marriage. While they may not always sleep under the same roof, they still make time for each other. The source even joked that they treat sleepovers like a special occasion, proving they still prioritize intimacy while respecting each other's personal space. In a 2018 appearance on Girl Boss Radio with Sophia Amoruso, Sarah Jessica Parker shared how time apart has actually strengthened their relationship. "I know this sounds nuts, but we have lives that allow us to be away and come back together," she explained. "His work life takes him here and mine takes me there. In some ways, I think that's been enormously beneficial because we have so much to share in a way." Essentially, the couple has struck a balance that lets them maintain independence while still nurturing their bond. It's a testament to how every marriage is different, and sometimes thinking outside the box, or in this case, outside the same house, is what keeps things fresh after nearly 3 decades together. Last but not least, let's dive into the low-key, unconventional marriage of Julia Roberts and Danny Motter, a couple who've been together for over 2 decades but are known for doing things their own way. While their relationship has always seemed solid, it's no secret that they've adopted a somewhat independent lifestyle that even includes spending time in separate homes. The couple, who met on the set of The Mexican in 2000 and tied the knot in 2002, initially lived in San Francisco. However, Danny's love for surfing and his deep ties to the entertainment industry eventually pulled them back to sunny Malibu. This move, while practical for their careers and passions, reportedly brought its own set of challenges. Adjusting to life in Los Angeles wasn't easy, and their arrangement evolved into one that allowed them to have personal space and maintain independence while still being a family. It's been said that Julia and Danny sometimes reside in separate homes, but this doesn't necessarily signal trouble in paradise. Rather, it reflects their individual lifestyles and priorities. Julia, who values privacy and simplicity, has often taken a step back from Hollywood's chaos, while Danny, as a cinematographer, remains deeply immersed in the industry. Their independent lives seem to work for them, allowing both to pursue their passions without stepping on each other's toes. Despite the distance that their separate living arrangements might imply, Julia and Danny have consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to their family, which includes their 3 kids. They often come together for family vacations, special occasions, and everyday moments that keep their bond intact. So, what do you think? Are separate beds a smart way to keep the peace? Or does it just raise more questions about their relationships? At the end of the day, every couple has their own way of making things work, especially under the spotlight. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you ever consider separate beds in your relationship? And while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more behind-the-scenes looks at celebrity lives. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.